Welcome to Motivational Monday Live from the beautiful Miami with this Indonesia, USA. I am your host, Damayanti, connecting countries, cultures, and company to help you excel in health, wealth, and relationship. We will be bringing you expert guest speakers such as CEOs, entrepreneurs, athletes, doctors, and superstars to motivate us to become the best version of ourselves. And today's superstar, we're lucky enough to have two superstars, my co-host,
Scott Clary.
and our guest speaker,
Wade Houston.
Wade Houston. So tell us about yourself.
Where do you want me to start?
At the beginning, bro. Right at the
When you
beginning.
first came out, I was kidding.
Yeah, I grew up in Vermont, as we were talking about before.
Yeah.
I grew up in a lovely family, very rural place. Sports
From
were-
rural
sports
to
were life.
Miami.
And
How
made
was
it
that
down here.
transition?
I was the craziest, you know? I mean, there's not a less diverse state in the country than Vermont. It's not diverse at all. And then Miami's not even really the United States of America. It's kind of its own little place, you know? It's kind of like Latin America in a way, mixed with a lot of other cultures, which is amazing. I always wanted to be in a multicultural place, so it's a blessing to be down here.
I love it. I love it. So who motivate you or what motivate you to become the superstar that you are with what you're doing right now? Tell us what you're doing.
I run a coaching program, so I have a personal and professional development. I help people with mindset, fitness, nutrition, and business. I help business owners grow and scale their company through structure, culture, and marketing and sales alignment. Motivated me was me hitting my bottom.
Ooh.
That's really what motivated me. You know, it was a point of desperation in which I had to relinquish self-control. I had to give up and say that, hey, I wasn't the person that knew everything. I had to accept help. And so my motivating factor was that bottom. Before that, I wasn't motivated at all. In fact, I was the least motivated person probably on the planet. I glided by with all of my natural God-given skills and abilities my entire life.
What happened?
I moved down here, and after 3 months, hit rock bottom. Got drugged, got robbed. At that time, I was partying. My parents weren't talking to me. My friends were pretty iffy on me. I really wasn't making any money. I had went from making a substantial amount of money before moving down here to not really making any money at all. I was living in a tiny little apartment. I had nothing, no furniture, nothing. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor, just addicted to drugs and living a terrible life. And so after 3 months of being in Miami and hitting that rock bottom, I just found myself in this point of desperation. And it wasn't any judicial consequence because I had look, when I was a kid, I had 3 DUIs, many assault charges. I got kicked out of prep school, kicked off my junior team, lost my rights to play pro hockey, kicked out of college, like a long, long track record. And none of that ever forced me to get sober I never even thought about making a change in my life because I was always kind of able to glide by on my abilities and my resilience. But I found myself empty. I mean, like spiritually bankrupt. In that moment in time, I just woke up and I remember feeling like, oh, this is the worst feeling of my life. I feel like I have nothing left and I'm not even sure what I should do from here, or I didn't even know if it was worth going on. And luckily that desperation mixed with prior court-mandated Alcoholics Anonymous lent me to say, hey, I know where to go. And I just walked into an AA meeting and I started taking my life serious at that moment. That was May 6th of 2019.
Miami was tough.
Brought me to my bottom.
Yeah,
But it's also going to bring you to the top.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I say is like, that whole situation that happened, you can look at it 2 ways, right? It's like, oh, what a terrible situation. I got drugged and robbed. Or you can look at it and say, that's what brought me to my bottom. And that's what someone actually helped me see was that woman who drugged me and robbed me. She's actually my angel. Right?
How so?
God bless you for having that perspective.
Wow.
Well,
I would never.
This is what's changed my whole life, is changing my perspective about the events that happen. Because no event is good or bad. No event is punishable or not punishable. We have no idea what the outcome of that event is going to be. We just have to accept the event as it is. And accepting an event is not approving the event either. I wanted to kill that woman who did that. But as I spent time getting sober and clearing out the wreckage of my past and starting to create a vision to God, what I realized was she was the only person in my 31-year journey of misguided, terrible notion that brought me to my bottom, a place where I said, I give up. I need to make a change. Rather than have a drug-infested, terrible existence in which I was sucking from the world my entire life, she brought me to the place where I said, hey, it's time to make a change. And as a result of that change, not only did I get sober, not only do I have a relationship with my family, not only am I the leader of my family, have I grown and scaled businesses, I've run 8-figure healthcare companies, but I deliver my purpose to the world. And instead of just sucking from the world, I now help other people. So it helped me find my purpose and my path because of my perspective on the situation. So it was a blessing, it was truly a blessing. That's the perspective that I kind of had to have in order to grow and move forward.
So when you look at what happened to you and you hit this rock bottom when you're in Miami 3 months in, obviously it was a blessing in disguise. And I love talking about rock bottom because I think that really pushes some people in the right direction, as it did with you. But a lot of people, maybe even people that you help, it's like it's rock bottom and they can't escape it because they're stuck there, or they're stuck in just a shitty hamster wheel of life, like kind of like what you were at before. So when you start working with people, what's like the first sort of audit that you do? Where do you see people struggle the most when you just like start to implant yourself in their life and you just take like a 360-degree view of the shit that's going on? Where do people hurt? Is it physical, mental, spiritual, whatever?
I think mentally and spiritually, there's a lot of misconceptions when somebody hits a bottom. And I think they have to be ready and willing to make a change. They have to relinquish self-control that they can, on their own, manage their own life, right? They have to, at some point, if they want to really get better, if they're struggling and they're at low point and they have desperation, they have to either accept spiritual help or help from a mentor or somebody who's gone through that change before. And for me, those were imperative. I had to get a sponsor. Yes. I had to get somebody who could guide me through a 12-step program. I had to get a mentor who could guide me through a lot of my misguided mental capacity and help me with business. And I had to develop a relationship with God. For me, that was important. I don't mandate that any one of my clients develops a relationship with God, but I tell them, hey, you have to work on developing a relationship with something outside of yourself so that you can get some feedback and start to not think you're the main character and you can control life. Because your grasp and your control in life has gotten you to the situation. So once you open your mind and change to a, hey, I'm going to learn, a growth mindset, things can start changing. And as soon as people are willing to make that change, we just look at where they want to go and we start to develop a simple set of habits. Because their mind will not change in that moment. It won't change in therapy. It won't change in 3 weeks with me. Their mindset will only change by following a simple set of habits in which they do not want to do. Because if they keep the promises they make to themselves, they build confidence. If they do what they don't want to do, healthy things, wake up on time, hydrate, pray, meditate, gym. If they say, I don't want to do this, but they do it anyway, they start to fortify resiliency. Their mind starts to become stronger. So when their mind tells them, slack off, don't do this, they say, no, I've already done the hard things. When it says, do some drugs, they can say, no, I've already done the hard things. When it says, go watch porn, they say, no, I don't have to do that because I've already done the hard things. So we can just follow a simple set of habits and that'll change mindset over time. That's really how I work with my clients, is those simple little habits.
Where do you find, like, just paint a picture. Who's your client? Like, are they, because I want people who are listening to understand, maybe I was not drugged and robbed, and maybe I don't feel like a degenerate, but I feel like a lot of people are actually quite fucked up, but they don't understand it. Do you meet people there, or is that person? Yeah,
bro, that's so spot on. It's like this is what I actually didn't know when I set out on this journey. I thought, wow, I'm gonna help a lot of people, and I'm gonna help a lot of people that are desperate or in that situation. I opened my coaching program. One of my first 10 clients is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Who has a lovely wife and lovely kids. And on the outside, everything looks unbelievable. You would think like, no issues with this guy.
No issue.
And he also understands Stoic principles. I know this guy very well. He understands that happiness and contentment is derived internally. But he came to me and said, Wade, my habits are off. I'm smoking cigarettes once in a while. I'm leaving and I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing during the day. I need to get back on track. Help me. So I have people that are I have a 17-year-old kid that hit rock bottom before he ever got out of high school, and I have 55-year-old billionaire clients and all the way in between. I think everybody can benefit from having more discipline and structure in their life, in the fundamentals, in the basics, in their mindset, through meditation, breath work, through maybe a spiritual connection, prayer. And then through, physicality and nutrition. So having some form of exercise regimen and focusing a little bit on nutrition. Those pillars, if you can focus on those, they just help with everything. Eliminating vices, better relationship, better confidence, so on and so forth. And so I have people in all different realms.
I also think that do you work with more men or women?
More men, I think, are attracted to me. I have
a thought about men because men in particular, I think, don't even have as many friends as they used to have. I don't.
They don't. Why is that? They don't want to be friends with you. It's the weirdest thing.
I don't know. I don't know why it is.
We want to be friends with everybody.
But I'm sure COVID didn't help.
No.
I'm sure COVID didn't help.
I agree.
I'm sure high performing. I don't know. I have some friends, but I don't have as many as I probably could. But I'm thinking all the stuff that you're saying. I remember all the friends that I had in high school, and you try and keep friends around you that would be like, hey, bro, don't cheat on your girl. Hey, bro, go to the gym with me. This is it's not, you're not paying these people, but you have this group of people that you're always spending time around. You go out on your own, you build a career, you're spending, energy and time, and maybe some of your friends drop off because they're not keeping up with you. But then it's hard to form these adult relationships as a man.
Yeah.
And then you don't have that counsel around you all the time. And then fast forward 30 years, you know how to make money. You figured out marriage, but you're still kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
You're not perfect. And you don't have people that check you all the time, especially if you made money. Not a lot of people check you.
Exactly.
A lot of people say yes to everything.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, it's spot on. Everything you just described is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that because I work with a whole bunch of people, the different contexts. I interview them. Yeah. So I get to pull out some stuff from their life. Yeah. But you see some really broken people that you look on paper, I want their life. And then you realize that their life isn't so good.
No, you don't want that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Wow. Okay. So why coaching? Curious.
Okay, so I ran a healthcare company.
Right.
I was the president of 10X Health, and the reason I got there was because of my journey into functional medicine personally. I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. I didn't believe what the doctors told me about the 2 medications were my only solution. I became very well read and very well reassured, and I ended up getting off all medications and putting the disorder in remission on my own through nutrition. Actually.
Nutrition.
Just nutrition. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Well, the father of medicine said, let the food be thy medicine.
Yeah. Yep. So as I kind of went on this journey and I started to run 10X Health, I realized, I'm not an employee. I don't fit in a corporate system all that well.
Yeah.
And I was better off starting a healthcare consultancy. So I started consulting for 10X Health and stem cell clinics in Colombia and med spas and a lot of different people in the functional preventative area.
Ooh, do you want to go into stem cell? I know it's kind of controversial subject, but
we can go
love it.
into all that.
I don't know anything about it, so.
Let's educate Mr. Scott here about stem cell. It's amazing. It's liquid gold, but go on.
There's a couple different kinds of stem cells. So in the United States, it's permissible to derive stem cells from your own body through fat or bone transfer. You take the stem cells out, they go through a process, and then they get injected back into your body. Now, that's never going to be as potent as stem cells from either a fetus, a placenta, or a young donor. The older you get, the less stem cell production you have.
Of course.
So in the United States, we're not able to do the most powerful form of stem cells.
Because it works. And
exactly.
the pharma doesn't like it that we're healing people. But go ahead.
Exactly. No, that's 100% spot on. And so in Colombia and Panama, in Turkey, and in some other countries, they have stem cells that are derived from either a placenta or from a young donor. And they go through a process. It's all completely safe, and they're extremely effective. Basically every professional athlete that you know that has overcome a tear or an injury, they get stem cells from one of these clinics. Panama Stem Cell Institute is the most famous, and then there's one called BioAccelerator in Medellin. But incredibly, incredibly useful substance. We just can't use them in the United States. What we can currently use in the United States for topical use only, which is for skincare, even though we do inject these, is something called exosomes. They're a molecule that's secreted by a stem cell. So you have stem cells, which are responsible for regenerating things in your body, whether it be tissue or basically anything but bone. They can regenerate anything but cartilage and bone. Mm-hmm. So they help you with any injuries, with any inflammation, even with a lot of autoimmune disorders, Lyme's, Crohn's. I've seen the craziest things cured. We can't make claims but I've seen the craziest. insane. Like one exosome IV and Lyme's cured for life from a woman who was like about to commit suicide, who's a nurse, who's tried everything. And I've seen, so they're trying to ban exosomes as well in the United States, but exosomes don't contain DNA. They just contain messenger RNA. So it's just a very quick, easy, injection. And the only problem is they work well. And so, of course, Big Pharma wants to shut that down.
If something works, let's cut it out.
But here's the thing, though, about the medical system is that only makes sense. Right. But think about the way our medical system is predicated. Like, why would they want that to be passed and permissible?
No, of course.
Right? They're controlled by Big Pharma, and Big Pharma wants to keep people in the system. They don't want to cure anything. No. They want to make sure that they prescribe as much as possible. They're running a business. But it's a business, so like you of course it's going to be that way. There just needs to be, alternatives to healthcare that are more affordable for people that don't have insurance, like more. Okay. And I think eventually the preventative and functional medicine will become more affordable, or hopefully. So we'll see what happens. But that's a little thing on stem
I appreciate
cells.
it. Yeah, no, I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I did them. I also used them in my backside for my liver because my autoimmune disorder was affecting my liver. Yeah. And it literally in moments cleared up my liver enzymes as well.
Well, I used it for my hair. I was losing hair, and I could never have hair past my shoulders? For whatever reason. I don't know what happened after my second divorce. Anyway, the stress in life, and I start injecting in my scalp, and like, oh my God.
Wow, nice.
It's amazing. I love it. I mean, as much as I love Botox, it is toxin. I've been doing a lot of exosome skincare, and
you got to go out of the country for that. Huh? You got to go to the country for that.
You can do them here. You can do exosome.
Okay.
Well, you can. It's off-label practice. You can. Use stem cell. You can't say it's for healing. It's more for aesthetics. So,
okay.
Yeah. For hair and like facials, you can use them.
Yes. I love it.
I know there's a whole bunch of like good medical practices outside the U.S. Like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because we spent the most.
It's because of people who lobby government to keep industries. Around.
That's it.
Basically. Wow. What were you saying before the stem cell conversation?
We were talking about how I got into coaching
from
where I was at, and so I started a healthcare consultancy, and I started consulting for these clinics, and I was unfulfilled. I felt like my whole life I just took jobs from cars to wholesale to banking to finance, and then in healthcare I was like, I like this, but now I'm just kind of consulting for a bunch of these companies, and I give them advice, and I don't really do that much. I just felt super unfulfilled. And so I spent a lot of time with my mentor, and I spent a lot of time in prayer and meditation about what I was going to do next. And for 2 months, every single day, I was like, God, just give me a sign. Like, what should I be doing? I know this isn't it. And I kept getting this reoccurring thought that I should help people overcome the problems that I had overcome, which for me was health concerns through autoimmune disorder, getting in tremendous shape, starting to understand nutrition, getting healthy on that side, mindset issues, growing in business, and sobriety. And so I was like, well, I kind of have this like 6-pronged thing where I've overcome a lot of problems, you know?
Yeah.
And I was praying every single day, and I got on a boat with one of my buddies, and he introduced me to a guy who does this as a profession. He's a coach, and he teaches other coaches how to coach, like how to find your zone of genius and what to do, how to create your programs. His thing isn't cookie cutter. It's like, let's figure out what you know about, and then we'll create your programs based on such. And I told him my story, and he was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing not coaching? Like, I just don't understand. Like, why? Like, you're being selfish. And it actually, and I've needed this throughout my life. Like, it still makes me emotional today to think about that. He just really hit me hard with it. And I was like, because I have a fear. I don't want to take a selfie video on Instagram.
No?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be judged. 6 months ago, July of last year, I had never once talked to my phone, had done a selfie video ever, nothing.
However, this morning he was cussing himself out. You should see that video. It's like, never too broke. I'm broke as you. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Stop talking about me.
Yeah. Now it's like second nature. Yeah. But he helped me get online, and it was crazy because the second I opened up my coaching program, I had 10 people reach out to me that were like, we've been waiting for you to start a coaching program.
Get out. So now you know that you should be doing this.
Yeah, it was like right away. And I've had well over 100 clients in the 6 months that I've been doing this. And
all through social?
Literally all organic through posting stories.
Damn.
stories.
But you just tell us about a little bit about your story for those who doesn't watch your story.
What, my story today?
What?
Just in general.
What'd you post?
Because it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I
more
thought he was
vulnerable.
talking about me, but
I'm just more vulnerable than anyone else wants to get
Yeah.
online. Like, I don't just show like, oh yeah, nice watch, cool shoes, Porsche. Like, I don't just show that shit. I show the struggle. I show the pain, and I show my problems in real time. I don't just talk only about like, here's what it used to be like and here's what it's like today. I talk about, hey, here's still a mindset issue that I struggle with. Here's still what my mind tells me, and here's how I treat my mind, which is different from how I used to do it in the past. And so I solve my problems in real time on my story. And as a result, people are like, whoa, holy crap. Like,
we all can relate to
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna watch your shit after.
Oh my gosh.
and I don't hold anything back. You
No.
know, I just don't, nothing. Like, I don't, that's it. I'm just real and raw and vulnerable with the way
You know
I
what?
talk.
I do that, but not people that listen to my content and watch my content don't know that I'm doing that. But when I'm tweeting shit out, all that shit is lessons that I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
Like that's all. It's just
what he was
It's
saying.
the most, like,
it's because it's so top of mind. Like you can't. I mean, yeah, sure. If you spend enough time, you think of something prolific to put out into the world. But like, what's the easiest content is stuff that you're actually dealing with, that you messed up that day, or that you learned, or that you dealt with in your business, or you dealt with in your personal life, with your relationship. Like that's the stuff that goes out.
exactly.
My Twitter, it's a dumpster fire of like wisdom that's probably just stuff that I should be doing myself, that I know if I listened to myself, my life would be like 10x better than it is right now. But you always like work towards that. That's the thing. But I like how you do it. So you're like, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm struggling with. Join me in solving my life.
Yeah. It's also like the accountability. Like, for example, since I started my coaching program, I haven't missed a single day of waking up at 5 a.m. Not one. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what time I get to bed. I wake up no matter what. I don't act based off of my feelings. I don't act off if I'm sick, if I'm sore. I don't care. My whole thing is I have the accountability and the mindset. And you can see I post every single morning at 5 a.m. the supplements on the counter. And I post every single morning a positive
accountability.
motivation.
You have to post it
Every single day they
my
can
gosh.
see
Okay,
that. I've
makes
never
sense.
missed the gym. I don't miss the gym. I don't miss eating healthy. I don't miss any of that. And I don't talk about a problem that I overcame. So people like watch my stuff in a way that's like, hey, I was hoping that I would get the motivation or the whatever from, your stories today. So it's like an accountability thing.
What's your, well, I have two questions. I'm curious what your routine is like now, because you're teaching people how to sort of like optimize themselves in their life. So I'm curious like how you've done it in your life, but also what is the wisdom for people that try and keep up, but then they fall off for a day?
Yeah.
And then they just fall off forever. Because I think that being that rigid is good, but for people who are human and they fall off and then they sleep in or they don't do it, you're like, shit, well now it's done. And this is how diets always fall off. Like the January, you go to the gym, and then the gym's always packed. And I hate the gym in January because it's packed, but I know that like come February, it's going to be empty again. And even gyms base their models on we're signing people up that are not going to go the full year and they're never going to go, right? Look at Planet Fitness. I'm pretty sure that's their whole damn model. Like we don't expect everybody to go to the gym all the time. And that's not just Planet Fitness, it's every gym in the world. But how do you solve that for somebody? What's like the mental exercise to like get back onto the horse after you fall off? And then after that, I want to know your routine.
So the first thing is that one miss does not define who you are as a person. People internalize what happens when they miss and they say, I suck, I'm lazy, I'm never going to be able to do this, I should just give up. They start to characterize and internalize an action that they took and make themselves believe that they can't continue to go on. What I tell all my clients is first read The Confident Mind by Nate Zissner, which is going to help you understand that isolated event is just that. It's an isolated event that took place. Don't judge it. Don't dwell on it. Don't worry about it. Just get back on the horse tomorrow. It's very unlikely that someone's going to be as regimented as I am. And there's still certain things that I might miss on. I might not be perfect. I might have a croissant every once in a while or a cookie, right? Like I am by no, right, exactly, And so I always just tell like, guys, hop right back on the horse. 1, 2, when I start working with people, the goal is not to go from where they are today to Tony Stark tomorrow. I have them define what their current morning routine is and what their optimal is, and then we create a small, steady, sustainable path of habits in which we habit stack and bring the wake up time down so that it is sustainable, so that they can do it. right? And if someone tells me, hey, I can only work out 3 days a week, let's start there.
Let's start, yeah.
Right? And then so it's just getting the consistency down, and it'll start to, it's basically a mental exercise of what can you do at first and just stick to your promise, and we'll do the mental repetitions, getting your mind stronger. But if you miss, hop right back on. It doesn't define you, you know? My routine, I wake up at 5 a.m., I hydrate with electrolytes, magnesium, sodium, potassium. I read something positive, like 1 or 2 pages in either a Stoic book or a motivational book, something like that. And then I do breath work. I do 3 rounds of Wim Hof breath work. I meditate for 10 minutes. I go on a walk, and then I go to the gym. And that's exactly what I do every single morning.
Every day.
Every day.
Rain or shine in Miami, you do it all.
You just can't miss, you know? That's the whole thing. That's what I teach is like, you can't act based off of your feelings. It's a very low level of consciousness if you're acting based off of your feelings. Right?
But what about me? I'm a woman. I act on feelings all the time. I'm sorry.
There's going to obviously in your daily life, especially when it's predicated on working with others, you are going to have emotions, and it is going to be impossible to be a machine and be void of emotions.
Right.
The whole point of meditation and a morning routine and observing one's mind is to elongate the time between your stimulus, your emotional response, and the actual logical response you have. So if you meditate and become aware of your thoughts, you can lengthen that time, which means you're going to act more out of logic than out of emotion. And believe me, I know I was the most reactive person of all time. Ever. I mean, like, because I'm intuitive and because my dad taught me social adaptation at a very early age, I would annihilate people with my words just because I had the ability. And I had to work very, very hard on not acting so much out of emotion, becoming aware of my mind, becoming aware of my emotions, and then not judging my emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have those emotions. If we can remove the judgment of those emotions and say, hey, life is an array of emotions. You're not going to be just happy and joyful all the time. Life would suck if that was the case. It would get dull and it would get dim. You have to have an array of emotions. So if you can sit with those emotions and say, hey, I'm going to try and act a little bit more out of logic and a little bit less out of emotion, then it's going to be a little bit easier. But I mean, when I'm talking about not acting out of emotion when we're working with ourselves. Most people don't analyze the relationship they have with themselves, right? Imagine if you said to me, let's go to the gym tomorrow at 7 a.m. And I said, okay. And you no call, no show. I'm going to lose confidence in you. I'll say, I'm going to give you one more chance.
Okay.
And the next day you say, I'm going to meet you at the gym, and you no call, no show. I'm going to lose pretty much all confidence in you. I might not even give you a third chance. And if I do give you a third chance and you don't do it, I'm going to write you off forever. What do you do with yourself? Oh, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow at 7, and then you don't go. And then you say, oh, I'm going to sleep in. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. What you're not realizing, or what anybody is not realizing, is that they're completely undermining themselves, and then they're losing all confidence in themselves. They're treating themselves terribly. They would never treat someone else that poorly. And then they do it again and again and again. And it's like, we don't even analyze this relationship we have with ourselves because we're just working out of emotion. I don't feel like going. I'm tired. I'm this, I'm that. It's like, no, you're not paralyzed. You can get up out of bed and do it no matter how you feel. And that is what really changed my mind. Believe me, I used to sleep until 9:30 all the time, and I would order pancakes and I wouldn't go to the gym. I was the biggest glutton of all time. So I just changed it through that process.
I love that.
We're going deep today.
I have one more deep question.
Okay, let's do it.
So I feel like society is very much godless in 2024. And you even said that you don't have to subscribe to God, but speak to the importance of God and or a version of that in somebody's life. Because I know it's important to you. You've spoken about it a few times now.
Yeah.
So let's speak about God or something that holds us accountable to like a higher authority. How do you sort of imbue that into the people you work with? Like highlight the importance of it? Because I feel like that message could be a turnoff to a lot of people in 2024. Like, what do you mean God? Like I feel like a lot of people do not care to have God in their life. And what I do believe is when you don't have God in the traditional sense or something that holds yourself accountable, something else becomes your God. Something, a habit or a behavior or a person or money or food or sex or drug. You'll always have a God.
Exactly.
So talk to me about how you walk people through that problem.
I think the fact that I talk quite a bit about God in my content helps at least set a foundation that there may be some mention of God in my group calls or on my one-on-ones. But also, especially in my one-on-ones, I ask people, are you spiritual? Do you believe in God? And so I set the foundation so I can kind of understand how much or how to speak about my relationship with God and how it's helped me. If someone says, no, I've never prayed, or I don't even have that, or so on and so forth, I just say, look, just close your eyes and ask something. I don't care what it is. Just look up. Ask that thing, whatever it is, the sky, for some direction, for some guidance, what the right thing to do is with your relationship. Ask that thing what you should do at work. Get very specific and ask for guidance. If you believe in God or not, it doesn't matter. But some intuition will come to you if you are not blocked off from the sunlight of the Spirit. And we are blocked off from the Spirit by all the negative vices that we have today, exactly what you're talking about. If the universe or the Spirit or God is not your God, it's going to be something else that's blocking you from finding a greater, higher power. Mm-hmm. And so if they can at least just relinquish for a few moments some of the vices or the social media or the smoking or whatever it may be, and ask for direction, I always tell them, look, that direction will be provided to you. Not on your time, but on the universe's time. Eventually, you will have inspiration about what you're supposed to do. And you're going to feel it and you're going to hear it. It is then your responsibility to take action. Whoever you pray to, God, the universe, they will provide the direction. You must take the action. And if you don't, you're just not listening to your conscience and you're never going to live in congruency with your conscience.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
So that's how I talk about God.
Wow. I was gonna ask what's one last word, but that's a great way to end this conversation. I was really
time is finite.
Oh, okay. Let's keep going. Just kidding. So, what's your favorite taco?
Yeah.
On a lighter note,
yeah.
My favorite taco is carne asada. How about yours?
Probably El Pastor.
El Pastor. Okay.
Yeah, I like those.
You're a pork guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. What's the,
I'm not generally a pork guy,
okay.
but I do like El Pastor for tacos. Yeah.
Okay. Love it. What's your favorite place here in Miami?
To eat?
Yeah.
Dirty French.
That's a good restaurant.
Huh?
Yeah, I like that
Dirty
place.
French.
It's dark in there, though.
Huh?
It's dark in there.
It's dark everywhere in Miami.
That's
It is
true.
dark.
All the fancy places.
It's either dark Asian, dark Italian, dark
That's
French.
true,
Yeah.
huh? I know. And then all
all
the
there
lights in the yeah. That's Miami. The restaurant become a club or somehow.
What's your favorite?
My favorite taco or restaurant? Well, my favorite is Bali, Indonesia. Down the street because I'm Indonesian. I'm away from home, so I go down the street and get my rendang and so on. But I mean, yeah, Dirty French is fine. Gecko is fine. Sometimes it could be just overwhelming with everything. I don't know.
Have you been to Osaka?
No, I haven't.
It's the best.
No.
I think it's the best sushi here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
It'll be my second favorite restaurant.
Osaka.
It's right around the corner.
Okay.
It's like the most underrated sushi there is.
Okay, I'll go because I love sushi.
Unbelievable.
I love like omakase. I've gone to Sushi Baibu a few times because I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so they have
Nice.
one like down the street from my house, right above Salt 7.
Yep.
It's so good, and like they do like the 11 course whatever omakase experience.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
I love that shit. But I do love sushi though.
Hell yeah. Osaka.
Yeah, I'll go.
Wow. Okay. So where can we find you?
Instagram.
Instagram.
It's Wade Houston.
At Wade Houston.
At Wade Houston.
At Wade
Dude,
Houston.
you got that handle.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Love it. It doesn't look like a, but okay.
Yeah.
Wade Houston it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was a wealth of knowledge. Oh my gosh.
Thanks for having
I could
me.
just sit here and listen to him talk and
I know. I could.
Oh my God.
You
Fix
could
the
do 2 hour.
situation.
You could do 2 hour,
I
3 hour
know.
podcast, no doubt.
Do you have a podcast? Curious. Do you have a podcast?
No.
It's coming. It's coming, you guys.
No.
It's good at that. Yes.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
One day.
Yeah. I'm about to drop my YouTube very soon.
Good.
Yeah,
So
there
I'll
you
start to have
go.
more long form content.
Good.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Well, yes, make sure you follow both of us,
That's Scott D. Clary.
Miss Indonesia USA and
Wade Houston.
Wade Houston, for sure. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys. Bye.